Welcome back. And now the ANC and COSATU have reaffirmed their historic alliance following a high-level bilateral meeting which was held at COSATU House. Now this comes when, of course, the South African Communist Party have said that they will be contesting the local government elections next year. Remember, they form part of the Tripartite alliance, the ANC, COSATU, and of course the South African Congress Party. I've mentioned I will be speaking to COSATU in the next segment, but joining me now, I'd like to welcome Donald Selamolela, who is an ANC NEC member. Mr. Selamolela, thank you so much for joining us here on News in Focus on Hilaal TV.
Faraz, evening to you and evening to the viewers of our television station here. Indeed, receive our greetings from the African National Congress and surely from the Alliance.
No, it's an absolute pleasure having you on. Mr. Selamolela, this meeting that happened yesterday, how important was it in terms of the timing, given, of course, that the Tripartite Alliance has the SACP, of course, saying that they're going to be contesting next year's local government elections by themselves?
Look, this was a very, very important meeting. It was an important meeting, and the magnitude of how this meeting was important is signified by the delegation that both the ANC and the Congress of South African Trade Unions sent. If you can see, we from the African National Congress were led by President Ramaphosa yesterday to that meeting, and we also have in that delegation the Secretary General. It's very rare that you have both the Secretary General and the President attending one session at a go. This shows how important this meeting was in our eyes. But also on the same time, if you look on the COSATU delegation, it was also led by President Losi and the Secretary General, the General Secretary Pedro. And this tells you how important this meeting is. The meeting was important because, as you correctly say, it happens, Faraz, at a time when we have challenges in the alliance. There's been a very strong voice from the alliance about restructuring of the alliance, reconfiguration of the alliance, which resulted in the South African Communist Party at some stage pronouncing that it is going to run and contest elections on its own. You have seen in some wards, especially in Limpopo, the Communist Party had started fielding its candidates in the local government elections. This meeting now takes place first to relook into that particular commitment that we had over years of working together to make sure that the alliance remain a center for ensuring that we champion the people's interests and the people's rights. But related to that is also to continue to work side by side as the ANC and COSATU to reposition COSATU to be at the center of resolving the interests of workers and being the champion, the umbrella champion of the people of the workers of South Africa. We have that joint responsibility. But also this meeting takes place, the ANC took this meeting to also take its alliance partner, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, about our plan as we go to the local government election, the state of readiness, the things that we'll be doing, and the expectation, obviously, thereof from the workers, from the workers' leadership, from all and sundry, in terms of supporting the plans we're having, because we all agree, ourselves and COSATU, that the local government election remain the centerpiece of our revolution. That is the cold face of service delivery. That is where the actual feel and grasp and touch of the service delivered to our people. That's where the actual revolution is happening on the ground. So we can't falter in as far as local government election, because to falter into local government election is to betray our people and to betray those who came before us. But we also took the advantage, the president also took advantage of this meeting. You would remember that a week ago, we had a National Executive Committee meeting that focused specifically on the economy and local government elections. Now, the president took this meeting into confidence, took COSATU into confidence about our 10-point plan in relation to the economy, the matters encapsulated in that 10-point plan, including how we're going to improve freight and logistics in the country, how we intend on industrialization, how we intend to bring workers on board in terms of that particular industrialization.
Mr. Selamolela, sorry, I have to cut you there because I want to bring in the 10-point economic plan, of course, that the ANC has launched. Has COSATU bought into what the ANC has established in that recent NEC meeting?
Of course, we are in agreement that if we are to implement those particular plans and if the state is to lead in that particular regard, of course, led by President Ramaphosa, we should then be able to save our people from some of these challenges that we are actually faced with.
Mr. Selamolela, the Tripartite Alliance at this very moment seems to have a sense of fragility to it, especially given the SACP. Now, the SACP hasn't categorically said it's going to disappear from the Tripartite Alliance or pull out from the Tripartite Alliance. It merely said, we're going to contest the elections on an SACP banner. Does the ANC trust that COSATU, who is now, of course, seemingly, given what we've seen in this meeting, its trusted partner in the Tripartite Alliance, does this meeting reaffirm that this relationship between ANC and COSATU is going to have longevity with regards to it?
No doubt whatsoever, I must affirm, no doubt whatsoever. As ANC, through our president and all National Executive Committee members, we are very confident that our relationship with COSATU remains solid. And yesterday's meeting was just an affirmation of that historic tie. We are bound together. We are supposed to strive together, and we have confidence that we are going to strive together, we are going to work together for as long as this revolution, the National Democratic Revolution, is necessary. I must also bring to the point, Patel, I know it's not part of what we are discussing. The view of the ANC on the South African Communist Party is that we'll continue to engage the South African Communist Party because the centrality of the alliance, the importance of the South African Communist Party in this revolution can never be undermined. But of course now, because we are focusing on COSATU, the centrality of COSATU equally, the role that COSATU played in the dark days, the role that COSATU played in transition, the role that COSATU must play now as we face the challenges that we are facing in the country of poverty, the challenges of unemployment, high levels of unemployment amongst the youth, the challenge that we face of inequality. We strongly believe that the COSATU has a role to play in assisting us to resolve some of these challenges. And yesterday, we got a confirmation that we're still together, we're still tied together, and we'll continue to toil and fight together side by side to liberate our people from the bondage of the challenges we are facing.
Mr. Selamolela, I want to take this quote from Matthew Parks. Of course, you would know him quite well because he's the COSATU parliamentary coordinator, and I'm going to have him immediately after this, after the interview you and I have concluded. He mentioned, and I quote, "We want to continue our relationship with the ANC and the SACP. They both have different roles to play, their complementary roles, but I think the message from our workers, delegates, and Central Committee is that we must unite the alliance, and whatever approach we have for local government next year, we need to ensure that we are on the same page." There was a question, I think, posed to him as to which of the alliance partners is COSATU going to back for next year's elections. What is the ANC's take on this comment that Matthew Parks has mentioned right now?
Parks is correct. And I think that was the spirit that we had in our meeting yesterday, that the leadership would have had to say, look, we can, and it's the point I just emphasized, we can never undermine the importance of the South African Communist Party in this revolution. The three components of the alliance plus one, the civic organization, all have individually but interrelated and interconnected roles in as far as this struggle is concerned. Therefore, it's like when we have a tripod, you are not complete when you don't have the other leg of a tripod. Now, it's our conviction, COSATU will continue to play its role of engaging the South African Communist Party to come back to the tables of discussion, to come back to the center stage of engagement. That has been the spirit, by the way, also, as you correctly say, of the delegates of the COSATU in that particular special meeting, that meeting that they actually had. And Pax is correct that we must continue to strive to do everything in our possible, humanly possible, to ensure that we deliver on this particular expectation.
Donald Selamolela, absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much, and thanks to the viewers at home, and good evening.
That's ANC NEC member Donald Selamolela coming to us from Polokwane. Well, the view now we're going to be getting from COSATU, and we will be having the conversation with Matthew Parks. Of course, I've quoted him in terms of what he said right now when asked who COSATU would be backing in terms of the Tripartite Alliance partners. So we'll be speaking to him to get a COSATU view on the meeting that happened between the ANC and the trade union organization yesterday. Do stay tuned.